this guy gave me, and basically I wanted to be able to send Mouseflow events to GA4 so that we could kind of connect the dots, so to speak. He gave me a script, and then this was the updated one, but like the first one didn't work. But the idea is that so we can get these IDs from Mouseflow into GA4. So the idea is we could say, like, let's just use our site for the example, as we're going to just keep doing that. We could say, okay, how many people, let's just go to the other one, the form that I already set up the goals for. How many people go here and complete this form? And I'm in GTM now. So let's say I do this, I finish completing the form, and technically I think this would count. The point of this video is let's just pretend that was a conversion. We would see that in GA4 here. And let's just again say that converted. At the time of conversion, we could grab the Mouseflow ID, which is this. So that's literally my ID. That's what the script I used as a variable was doing. All I had to do is I didn't have to add a tag at all. It's just a variable. So it's just this, and that's all simple JavaScript. And that gives me the ID. Then I can go in and say, show me the ID of this person, and I could watch what they did. So I could say just a filter on the session ID, and you could add multiple. I'll just add one. And I think this is too new yet. Let's see, today is the 29th. Maybe it's just a little bit too new, but the point is that any of these, let's just take, this is probably you. Any of these have a session ID, and I think it could be seen somewhere up here probably. But that's kind of just the point of just showing a session ID. We could also create like leads in here as variables. And so we could just say like, show me the ones that were leads, and I can send those as well to Mouseflow. And we're also using Hotjar. It's really just so that we can test for clients basically. But that's the idea, is that would be valuable to be able to say, give me the 10 leads that happened this week, and let me go watch their video recordings through the site and maybe look at funnels and forms, etc. So that's what we are doing this for. It's kind of the same concept as we do with like SaaS clients, where we will use the Google Analytics client ID and then pass that to the CRM so we could see what they did basically. So this is just another version of that, and wanted to share with you this. And what I wanted to share specifically, this is one of the gotchas in GTM. And so let's just go back to the homepage. And then these are the events that fire on. Let's collapse all these. Cool. So this is the page we're on the homepage. And so we have, this is the consent trigger. So this is how cookies are, usually configured, and that's why it shows up first. Then the initialization, and then the container load. This used to be called the page load. So this is kind of what this means, is the page is starting to load here. And then the DOM ready, the document object model, that's the second step. So this is all in order of events. So this happened first, and then, which is why they're numbered this way. And then the DOM ready, and then the window load. Window load is usually when we should fire like extra scripts like the Facebook pixel. Like we don't need to fire that right away, because then that just slows down the site. So this is when the page is fully loaded, like this reload button here, right? It shows the reload button because it is fully loaded. So that's what this is. So at this point, I'm looking in the variables, because all these change based on the step, right? You can see some things change here. So I don't have the session ID. I don't have this at the window load state, which is I usually have what I need at this point. But at the next step, now I have it. So if I was to just, and this is what I will do, but it's an important detail, because if I was to just say like, okay, let's create a GA4 event. Let's just call this, I need to create some event naming conventions, but I think I would just call this Mouseflow session ID, which is what this is. And then if I was to add, let's just call this the session ID, and then the variable is Mouseflow script. If I was to say fire this at the window load, which is what I usually use on all pages, it wouldn't be available, because again, look at, this is the window load. It is undefined. It would return that, but it's at the next step set. I don't know what is setting this set event. These are events. These are all events here. You can see like detect user is an event coming from Hotjar, and we use Hotjar. And so I'm just going to use this one because it's after the set event, and this is probably coming from Mouseflow that's setting these events here. I don't know. I don't have to know, but I know that it's at least reliable on every single page I looked at. Like this is where the ID is available. So I'm going to use this one because there's just one event and it's coming from Hotjar, knowing that if we ever take the Hotjar script off the site, then this would go away, this event, but for now we're fine. And I think this is fine. What we may do in the future is say like, wait 3 seconds and then fire an event after the window loads. So window loads, wait 3 seconds, fire an event, and then we can be sure we can grab this. But we don't want to wait too long because like someone may leave a page, right? And so anyway, I'm just going to use this one. So at the detect user event. And so that's going to be my trigger. So I'm not done here yet. I need to say, like this is saying, okay, we will send the session ID to Google Analytics 4. Great. When do you want us to do that? Okay, at the trigger, and I don't have an event for this. This is a custom event, and the custom event name is detect user. Always copy and paste. So this is the name, and is the trigger naming convention. This is going to be a custom event, detect user, and cool. And so it will fire on all of these because this is unique. So this should be exactly what we need. And then I'll just name the tag and call this GA4. This is, I think I updated these. There's a little bit too long of naming conventions, but like RC GA4 event, Mouseflow session ID. I don't think we need to use today's date. That's it. And then the config tag is the GA4 property to send it to. And so actually, and let me think about this. I think we want to send it as a parameter. This would be if we wanted the same user ID for the same user. Each session is different. So we want to use this. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to preview this. And I'm also going to open up GA4 to see if it actually works. The real way to TBV, to trust but verify, is to look at where it's going to be sent to. Because in theory, this works, but we need to confirm, like check for errors. So first, I'm going to see, yes, this passed through. These are the values, and this is the actual value. Like this is the variable, but this is the actual value. So this is working as expected. Now let's go to the true source of truth where the data is being collected in debug. And there we go, Mouseflow session ID.